Today I'm joined by BSB rider Ben Currie. So Ben, riding for the Gearlink Kawasaki team this season and for a few previous seasons as well. But just firstly, before we hit on the bikes, how have you been getting on, I suppose, throughout the lockdown? And you say you're just on the border there in Wales, so how has it been affected up there?
Yeah, it's not been too bad, but as we just spoke about briefly off camera, we were saying that things are sort of like going back the other way now. They're slowly going back into like lockdowns and local lockdowns and stuff. Not here as such, but most part of the lockdown and like obviously when it was really bad, all the coronavirus at the start of the year and stuff like that, it hasn't been too bad here. Minimal cases, because obviously we live in quite a small little village, but like things are starting to change a little bit now, and I feel like it's getting a little bit more serious this time around. So hopefully, fingers crossed, things stay very much the same as the first time round, and we can not be too affected and keep cracking on with the year.
So parking the coronavirus talk, because I think everyone is just sick of it at this stage. Getting back onto bikes. So you were born in Australia and then made the move over to the UK to race, I assume. I'm just assuming that, but you can fill us in anyway on what the story was. So so born in Australia. I suppose, when did you first kind of start to get into motorbikes?
I was actually, sorry to correct you, I was actually born in Germany. Crazy. Yeah, I was a German baby.
On the accent, I'm kind of going, he has to be Australian.
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, I'm full Australian, but my dad was traveling the world playing professional squash at the time, and he met my mum, and he lived over there for like 5, 6, maybe even longer, 7 years or something like that. So he was living over there for so long that he met my mum. They got together and they had me while I was still over there. And then when I was 2 years old, I moved back to Australia with dad and mum. And I've lived there since I was 2, kind of thing. But the funny thing is, when I first went back over to Australia, apparently I could only speak German. So, like, I was just starting to speak and stuff then, I think. And, it was completely foreign for me. When I went back to Australia, I was like, apparently I was not having a good time because I couldn't, my speech and stuff was, like, delayed, and loads of other things were delayed because I think I was just, like, confused. So I had to technically, like, learn how to speak English like a little bit later. So yeah, I was born in Germany. I lived in Australia, and then I moved here when I came over when I was still 17, actually. I had my 18th birthday in the May of the first year I was here. So quite early on in the piece. But I've been here ever since now. I'm 25 years old. Obviously I go back to Australia and visit, but yeah, I came over here purely to race motorbikes, as a youngin, and try and carve a career, really.
And was motorbikes? You say your dad was a professional squash player, so it's slightly different to motorbikes. But was there anyone in your family, I suppose, that was into motorbikes, or did you kind of just take this notion of giving it a go?
Yeah, it was purely like we lived in a court in Melbourne, and it was like a dead end street, and it had a circle at the end, and we had all these houses around this circle and all the way up the street, and everyone in the circle knew each other, and we all like around the same age, all the kids. There must have been like 10, 15 of us, like brothers and sisters and friends, all of us. And there was a family over the road that we were super close with. Me and the 2 brothers, like we're still still best mates now. We're long childhood friends all the way till now. And at one Christmas, we woke up and we got ushered. I think it was Christmas. Yeah, we got ushered over the road, and our sets of parents bought us a Pee-wee 80 for Christmas, just like completely out of nowhere. Like we were playing football and all that sort of stuff as kids. And then we had a motorbike to share between the 3 of us, because we had a holiday house down near Phillip Island and stuff like that. So we just thought we'll go to quarries and we'll start riding and go to the local tip, which was like a big grass field out the back. We used to sneak into there and ride around, and at the back of the football grounds, on the football grounds, we used to ride around. So it started there, and I think it just kept going we joined a club started racing, and then the two boys, they stopped quite early because they were good at football and stuff like that. And I kept going. So that's really how the journey started. So there's no real relation or anything like that.
Yeah.
I mean, my dad used to race buggies, off-road cars.
Okay, yeah.
So he actually shifted to motorsport in a certain way when he got back from Germany, but never motorbikes. So, yeah, I'm the first one in the family.
So I suppose going from there now to the BSB paddock, how I suppose did that kind of come around? You know, you moved to England, as you say, when you were 17. Where did you start then when you came to England? Was it just kind of, yeah, how did you get into it, I suppose?
Yeah, it was a weird one because I was on dirt bikes my whole career till I was six. I finished dirt bikes really when I was about 16, 17. So I came over here straight away, really. I did some club racing, some lower national sort of meetings in Australia on the tarmac. Bikes my whole career till I was six. I finished dirt bikes really when I was about 16, 17. So I came over here straight away, really. I did some club racing, some lower national sort of meetings in Australia. On the tarmac, but originally I was fully blown motocross, and we managed to, we had a friend called Robbie Phyllis. I used to race motocross with his son, and Robbie was racing world superbikes and stuff back in the day, and was very good at it, top few in the world a couple of times and stuff like that. And he always said, you got to have a go at road racing, got to have a go. So I went down with his son, Al. At the time, he was racing 125s. I went down and we rode around on little 50s around Broadford, which was our local track kind of. And we rode these little 50 hire bikes, and I put my dad's go-kart leathers on, and we went down there, and we were just having some fun. And then I ended up cartwheeling the thing, and an hour or so into my first ever go on the tarmac, and banged myself up my knee because I had go-kart leathers on. I had no protection or anything like that. And then after that day, we sort of just got hooked on it, and we started looking for bikes to buy and sell the motocross bikes. We'll do that instead. And yeah, we bought a 600. We went racing, and I did really well. I won a couple of club. I got third in the state championship, which was quite a big championship, and then I think I got second in the club championship. So all of a sudden there was a lot of interest in me, moving into the national level. I actually had signed a deal with YRD Yamaha squad in Australia to do the Superstock 600 national championship, and then a couple of phone calls happened, there's an opportunity in the UK. They're looking for an Aussie rider for Stock 600 to start, build a career over here on an MV Augusta. And we sort of got sold the idea, really. And it was really cheap to come over and do it compared to what it was, for what it was. And I said to Dad, I was like, I've always wanted to go overseas racing, but that was for motocross. I said, I've always wanted to do it. I should do it. And they're like, nah, no chance. You're 17. We've got to work. We can't just send you over there. We're not millionaires. We need to work and stuff. You can't go over there on your own. And we sort of just after me, kind of begging Dad to give me a chance. And a lot of my dad's friends that sponsored me and stuff like that to get me over here to pay for it, pushed him into it. And we kind of just oh, all right, let's do it. So we went, and Dad came over with me for 2 weeks, dropped me off, sorted me out with the team. And next thing you know, we were racing Pirelli Superstock 600 Championship in the UK, and away we go.
So I suppose going in as a youngster into the BSB paddock, it probably was a little bit daunting. But I suppose, what kind of expectations did you have, or did you have any? Was this just something you were just completely trying out? As you say, you really wanted to go and race overseas. So did you kind of ever, I suppose when you were getting into it, did you kind of ever imagine where you would be in a couple of years' time?
To be honest with you, I was 17. I'd raced 6 months of tarmac racing prior to coming over here, and I thought I knew loads that I didn't. I thought I was the best, obviously, and I came over here and I sort of just like, yeah, pretty chilled. I get to do what I want. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm going on 18. You know what I mean? My parents are back home. I can just I just thought this is going to be fun kind of thing. I never once thought, I can't, I'm going to work really hard. I'm going to make a career of this. In 2 years' time, I'm going to be on a factory ride, blah, blah, blah. And then my sort of like natural want and desire to win obviously was always there. And when I turned up, I wanted to win. And when I didn't, I was kind of like, what the hell? Because I remember I started this not long ago and I won everything pretty much and, in the top few. And I thought it kind of came kind of easy. But the level difference when I came over here was so great that I was like right at the back. And I thought, well, this is embarrassing because I've come over here and now I'm at the back. So I thought I'm going to have to do something. And I slowly worked out for myself that what I was doing was not right. I was having nachos for breakfast, lunch, and dinner because I couldn't cook. I was having, if there was no food in the house, I would just have cereal for dinner or, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, whatever, So I was on my own. I had no life skills. And I'm thinking to myself, something's got to change. And then along with a bit of guidance and stuff like that, people said, like, you need to sort your stuff out. Otherwise, you're going to last 2 minutes. So before then, I was like training. Like, what's that? I'm not going to train. Like, that's crap. I don't want to go to the gym. So slowly I started to train. I started to clean up my diet a little bit. I learned a lot more about that. I got the right people in my corner. And then I started to get some results. And I started to see that potentially I could do this. And I saw maybe I've got a career in this if I keep pushing. And slowly, things started to change. People started to take more interest. And then that's when I really believed that I could do the job. And I turned my whole life around now. And, I'm so big into all my training and all my diet and making sure that everything's spot on. My sponsors are happy, being professional, all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, I think it wasn't until like a year or so after getting here, I realized, shit, I need to pull my finger out. I need to do something about this because I've got a great opportunity.
So riding now, I suppose, for the Gearlink Kawasaki in Supersport, Super Stock. God.
No, Supersport 600. Yeah, I mean Supersport.
Oh, it's Supersport.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Yeah. So in the Supersport class, what is it? I suppose, kind of, what's it like now that you've been here? What is it, 7 years now or something at this stage? So you've really settled into what BSB is all about. So I suppose, is it nice now being a front runner in that class and kind of getting the results, I suppose, that everyone wants?
Yeah, obviously, I spent a few years in the stock 600, and then I got second in the championship there, and you have to move out of the stock 600 when you get top three. Yep. So I got an opportunity in Supersport, and I cut my teeth there, and then I joined the Gearlink Kawasaki squad quite early, and I did a couple of years there. I did a year with Andy Irwin there, and then I did another year with Westy, and yeah, I got third in the championship and second in the championship those 2 years with the Gearlink squad, and things were going great. And I managed to lock up a factory Superbike ride with another Irwin, with Glenn, and things didn't go to plan in my rookie year in Superbike last year. I smashed myself up pretty bad, and then it was just an uphill battle from there, really, knees and both feet broken and stuff like that. So it was hard to get back from that. And then I didn't get another opportunity because the team actually stopped. Pete Extence's Quattro plant, Kawasaki, stopped. And unfortunately, there wasn't an opportunity that was like I was interested in doing. So, like you say, I'm quite comfortable with the Gearlink squad. I moved back, into the Gearlink. Michael had me straight back into the Gearlink Supersport team. He supported me for a while now, and I fit straight back in there. But obviously I wanted things to go a little bit different this year, but COVID had other ideas by the looks of it.
So I suppose, bearing that in mind, I suppose if another opportunity was to arrive in the Superbike class, I suppose you wouldn't kind of be gone on the idea of moving back into that class. I suppose.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%. That was the goal. The goal was to get into Superbike. a good opportunity came about. Like if we're talking about the question you asked me before about like where do you see yourself? Like when I was in Superstock 600 when I first got here, did I see myself in the championship winning Superbike team as a rookie getting paid to ride motorbikes? No. Like I didn't think that would ever be a thing until maybe a little bit further down the line when I started to believe that I could do that. So I got to realistically somewhere that I couldn't have even dreamed to imagine 5 years before that. So it was a great achievement. And I think I deserved that opportunity. I want to go back and do that again. But also I'm not ruling out that, the potential idea of maybe changing my course a little bit and start to explore the World Supersport Championship a little bit more and stuff like that, because it would be good to race back home in Australia as well. So, I think my aspirations have, like, I've opened, what's the word? I'm open to more different things now, and I think we'll just see where things go moving forward.
And then you said earlier on, like, a big part of motorbike racing is kind of having people backing you and sponsors and sponsorship and all the rest of it. So obviously when we were starting out, you would have needed to have your own kind of personal sponsors. But now, like, I've always kind of wondered, like, when you're in a team, do you still need those personal kind of sponsors to give a hand with different things?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, Michael really looks after me. I'm on a very good deal for Supersport. Supersport is obviously a step down from Superbike in the sense of, budgets and stuff like that for teams, etc. But Michael himself really helps me out with a great deal. So I don't have to pay for my racing or anything like that. And, he gives me some help in other places as well on a personal level, not even from his race team. So I'm pretty lucky in that sense. But I have personal sponsors on top of that that help with my living and making a living out of it. Where I can plan for my future kind of thing as well. Because obviously you can only race motorbikes for zero money for so long before it's like you got to give your hobby up and get a proper job. But luckily I'm in a situation where I can do it as my job, and obviously the backing with Kawasaki as well as a manufacturer, and some coaching on the side of things, that all really helps me be able to keep doing this and doing what I'm doing, trying to achieve, try and be the best, be British champion and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm quite lucky in that sense, and I'm really grateful for my sponsors and stuff that I've got on board, companies that support me. Without them, realistically, it's not a thing. So it's great.
And then, of course, I suppose the atmosphere now at the BSB racing, it's just not the same because there is still no fans being permitted, obviously due to coronavirus. So does that affect, I suppose, when you're racing, like, because that is the fans are a big part of the BSB.
Yeah, it's weird. Obviously, I've got companies and stuff that sponsor me, like we just said, and hospitality. They've got hospitality and stuff like that. That's not possible. So I've got no guests coming, enjoying the weekend, enjoying what they're investing in. But yeah, also on top of that, the thousands and thousands of people that aren't there. When you roll out of pit lane and you tip into turn one and you've got a hill full of, thousands of people there just absolutely buzzing, loving the racing. It's just empty. Everything's empty. The paddock's empty. It's a really, really weird feeling, and it's not the same. The atmosphere is not the same. But saying that, I think I said to you before the camera, it feels really flat and it's not the same. But in the same sense, we're just super grateful that we get to go racing. Yeah, it's a shortened season. I think BSB as a whole have done a fantastic job. And I think the championships this year have been phenomenal. Like, I think if there was crowds there this year, you would see some of the most memorable moments in BSB history. Unfortunately, this season, is going to be remembered for COVID-19 and all that crap. So it's unfortunate because BSB, what they've done as a whole, has been remarkable. So yeah, it's a big change not having the crowds there, and they're sorely missed. And hopefully next year we can get back to normal.
Fingers crossed. And just, I suppose, on next year, I suppose with COVID, it's hard to plan anything into the future. But I suppose, bearing all that in mind, what would your plan sort of be for next year, or what are you looking to do, I suppose?
Yeah, I mean, I was expecting this question because obviously there's a lot of talk about next year. Like, what am I doing? Nothing's come out yet about what I'm doing. I've got options. That's the first thing. Like, the first thing is actually having an option to come back racing.
Yeah.
Obviously last year I had a terrible year, but big injuries. Did I see myself back in Supersport in 2020? Not really. Like, I didn't want to. But I'm back and I'm happy for it that I've got the opportunity. What do I want to do next year? Well, I haven't had the best year. Due to, people ask me, how did your year go? Or how's your year going? I say, do you have an hour or two so I can tell you, So there's reasons, there's problems this year that need to be resolved, and I need to start getting some results. That's the most important thing. In terms of next year, like, I've got one eye on it, and I'm starting to make plans for it, but I don't really know which direction I want to go in. So, I can't really say too much at the moment, purely because there's nothing really close to being in concrete. I'm being honest in saying that I'm not close to signing anything, but also I've got options. So that's basically where I'm at. Where I'll be next year, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm keeping my options open, that's for sure.
Well, as they always say, it's always good to have options. So there you go. But we wish you the very best of luck anyway with whatever you choose to do next season. And hopefully you're around the BSB paddock soon when everyone's allowed to get back in and enjoy some racing.
I know, fingers crossed.
Thank you very much, Ben, and best of luck for the remainder of the season.
Thanks, Holly.